It was a rainy Thursday afternoon when he walked into the small-town diner. The kind of place where everyone knew everyone, and strangers stuck out like sore thumbs. He wore a plain hoodie, jeans, and sneakers damp from the storm. His deep brown skin glistened faintly with raindrops, and his face, kind but quiet, looked like he carried the weight of the world. He stepped inside, shook off the cold, and took a seat at an empty booth near the window. He liked the window seats. Gave him something to focus on besides the tension he could already feel in the room. The hush of conversation. The glances. The unmistakable pause that often greeted him in towns like this. This was supposed to be just a quick stop on his road trip. A meal, some coffee, a chance to get off the road and breathe. But the moment he stepped through that door, he could already tell this place would offer no rest. He looked around. The walls were lined with black and white photos of the town's past. Smiling white faces, framed in nostalgia. No signs of diversity, no hints of the present. Just an echo of what had always been. The waitress, blonde, mid-30s, with a name tag that read, Carrie, spotted him immediately. Her lips pursed. Her eyes narrowed. And instead of grabbing a menu, she walked straight past his table. Minutes went by. No water. No greeting. No acknowledgement. He waited. Patiently. Politely. It wasn't the first time. To pass the time, he pulled out his phone. Checked his emails. Responded to a message from his assistant. Looked over the updated financial report for the franchise. Numbers looked good. Better than good, actually. Still no sign of the waitress. He looked up again. She was laughing now, chatting with a young couple who had just walked in. She greeted them like old friends, ushered them to their table, handed them menus with flair. It was a dance she knew well. But when she turned and caught his eye, just for a split second, her smile faded. She turned her back, grabbed a coffee pot, and made her way to another table. He sighed. Not out of frustration. Just weariness. This again. Finally, he stood up and approached the counter. "Excuse me," he said, voice calm and even. "Is it possible to get a menu?" Carrie didn't even look at him. "We're short-staffed," she said flatly. "You'll have to wait." He nodded slowly. "I've been waiting. 20 minutes. She glanced at him then, finally meeting his eyes. And with a slight sneer, she said, "Maybe this isn't the place for you." The diner went quiet. A few heads turned. He didn't react. Didn't shout. Didn't argue. He just looked at her. A long, slow look, as if he'd heard those words 1,000 times before. And then he said, "You're right. Maybe it isn't." He turned around and left. Rain fell harder as the door shut behind him. But outside, he didn't rush to his car. He stood there for a moment. Let the rain wash over him. Let the disappointment settle. Then, with a deep breath, he pulled out his phone again. "Alex," he said when the call picked up. "Let's move up the acquisition. I want the paperwork signed by tomorrow." Carrie went about her day as usual. She didn't mention the man. Didn't think twice about it. She'd seen his type before. Always with a chip on their shoulder. Always ready to cry racism. In her mind, she was just doing her job. And if someone didn't like the way she worked, that was their problem. But that night, while closing up, she noticed something odd. The manager, Greg, was on the phone longer than usual. He looked nervous. Kept pacing. Nodding. Scribbling things down. When he finally hung up, he looked at her and said, "Big changes coming. Corporate's sending someone tomorrow." Carrie raised an eyebrow. "What kind of changes?" Greg just shrugged. "New ownership. Some kind of internal audit. Whole town's talking about it." The next morning, the diner buzzed with its usual crowd. Carrie was wiping down tables when a black SUV pulled into the lot. A man in a tailored charcoal gray suit stepped out. Behind him, 2 more vehicles followed. The town's mayor, the head of the Chamber of Commerce, and a woman in a pantsuit with a clipboard. Carrie watched through the window, confused. The suited man entered first. Clean-cut, confident, with a quiet authority. And as he stepped inside, the diner fell silent. Behind him, the mayor smiled awkwardly. "Good morning, folks," he said. "We're here for the final inspection. The new owner wanted to stop by personally." Carrie furrowed her brow. New owner, she repeated. The man in the suit stepped forward, eyes scanning the diner slowly. And then he landed on her. He smiled. It was him. The same man she refused to serve. Gone was the hoodie and damp sneakers. Now he stood poised, polished, powerful. I believe we've met, he said calmly. Carrie's face went pale. The mayor, oblivious, laughed nervously. Mr. Jameson is the new majority owner of the diner franchise. This one included. Effective this week. The clipboard woman added, he's doing a surprise evaluation of all locations. Carrie stammered. I didn't know. I didn't mean. But Mr. Jameson raised a hand. You don't need to explain, he said. I've heard enough. He turned to the mayor. We'll talk in my office. But for now, I'd like to speak to the staff. They nodded and stepped aside. Mr. Jameson turned back to Carrie. You judged me based on how I looked. You assumed I didn't belong here. Her eyes filled with tears. He continued, I built this franchise from the ground up. Started with a food truck. Grew it with blood, sweat, and every insult you could imagine. The other staff looked at her, silent. He went on. I came here yesterday because I believe in visiting every location, unannounced, to see how customers are really treated. He let the silence linger. Then, softly, he said, You failed. Carrie choked out, Please? I need this job. He nodded. I understand. We all need grace. But accountability comes first. Then he turned to the manager and said, Place her on leave. Effective immediately. Retraining starts next week. If she wants a second chance, she'll have to earn it. He paused. Because I'm not just a businessman. I'm a black man. And I remember every door that slammed in my face. Every moment someone said I didn't belong. He looked around the diner. And I'll be damned if I let that happen on my watch. Carrie collapsed into a booth after he walked away. Shaken. Silent. The woman with the clipboard approached her. We believe in second chances, she said kindly. But only when people are willing to learn. Carrie nodded, tears running silently down her cheeks. And for the first time in a long time, she listened. Sometimes the most powerful moments aren't loud. They're quiet, measured. Just a man refusing to be diminished. A man standing in the very place he was once told he didn't belong, and saying with grace and strength, I do. So the next time you're tempted to judge someone, stop. Because you never know who they really are. And sometimes, the people we look down on are the ones we'll have to look up to. As the story closes on Malcolm's quiet walk away from the very restaurant he built, a lingering silence follows. One that begs the question, how often do we judge people before we know them? How many times have we missed a chance to be kind, just because we assumed someone didn't matter? And so, before you click away from this video, ask yourself, 1. Have I ever let appearances cloud my compassion? Think of the last time you dismissed someone, at work, on the street, or even in your own home, just because they didn't look the part. Let Malcolm's story be a mirror. 2. Will I speak up the next time I witness injustice, no matter how small? Sometimes, change starts with a whisper. Other times, it demands a voice loud enough to shake the room. Don't be silent. Be brave. Be loud. Be right. 3. Can I turn regret into redemption? Like the waitress who finally saw Malcolm for who he truly was, we all carry moments we wish we could undo. It's not too late to apologize. It's never too late to do better. Share this story. Start a conversation. Break the cycle. Because maybe, just maybe, the next person someone writes off could be the one who built the whole damn house. Subscribe for more stories that uncover the truth behind the silence. And remember, we are all more than what's seen.